Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Analysts fully expected weekly claims to fall for a second week, or at least to remain below 1 million. Instead, the Labor Department says 1.1 million more Americans filed for jobless benefits, an increase of 135,000 from the previous week. Still, the unemployment rate for the week ending August 8th was 10.2%, a slight drop from the week before.
Real unemployment's probably around 17, 18, 19%. Why does that matter? We should talk about the what's going on at DNC. Because the average person really isn't watching it. They're doing what they need to do to survive. They're trying to figure out how they navigate the world of coronavirus, the world of kids trying to get back to school, and keeping their job and their head above water. What they want to see is solutions. What they hear is bitching from both sides about how crappy the other side is. Hey, this side over here really sucks. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. Yeah. Our side, well, we suck too, but we suck a lot less. That should not be the platform for anything.
I never expected that my successor would embrace my vision. I did hope, for the sake of our country, that Donald Trump might show some interest in taking the job seriously, that he might come to feel the weight of the office and discover some reverence for the democracy that had been placed in his care. But he never did. For close to 4 years now, he has shown no interest in putting in the work, no interest in using the awesome power of his office to help anyone but himself, no interest in treating the presidency as anything but one more reality show that he can use to get the attention he craves.
Yeah, that's kind of what he does. That's Trump. And we all get that. And by the way, the media never stops. No matter what he does, it's never good enough. And if he does something great, it's somebody else gets the credit as far as they're concerned. It's a two-way street. Trump got there by being Trump. So that meant that people were craving something different. But last night, as I have for the first three nights, as I expect for the RNC, is a bitch fest about how awful the other side is. What they're going to do to destroy America. Shut up. It's not going to happen. It's just not. You're not going to destroy America. We may destroy it. Our founding fathers never worried about an invasion. They worried about us being eaten alive from within. Meaning we destroy ourselves. If all that you can say is Donald Trump sucks, that to me is not a platform. If all you can say is, remember when Donald Trump won the election, Hillary, first of all, was very unlikable. Secondly, it was a lot of he's awful, he's awful. Trump would say, she's awful, Jobs. Lock her up, Jobs. Her and her husband are crooks. I'm going to bring home our troops. Benghazi, immigration. It was negative and positive. Now it's neither, from either side, by the way.
The morning after the last election, I said, we owe Donald Trump an open mind. I meant it. And Trump came in with so much set up for him. A strong economy, plans for managing crises, including a pandemic. Yes, we Democrats would have disagreed with him on many things. But if he had put his own interests and ego aside, seen the humanity in a child ripped from her parents at the border, or a protester calling for justice, that would have been a good thing. I wish Donald Trump knew how to be a president, because America needs a president right now.
And I hear a lot of this. I don't hear a lot of, hey, by the way. Biden's great. By the way, Kamala's great. Even when they throw them in, it's mostly to juxtapose the fact that Donald Trump is awful. Donald Trump yesterday said something, and I think it's even more relevant.
Now, President Obama did not do a good job, and the reason I'm here is because of President Obama and Joe Biden. Because if they did a good job, I wouldn't be here. And probably if they did a good job, I wouldn't have even run. I would have been very happy. I enjoyed my previous life very much. But they did such a bad job that I stand before you as president.
They didn't do a horrible job, a bad job, but there's some truth in that. The previous 8 years, it was an apology tour about how much America sucks. The previous 8 years was the start of a culture war that got to the main stage. The previous 8 years, and again, I didn't think Obama did a horrible job, but he's right about the fact that he's there because people were sick and tired of what they looked at as the elites. And for whatever reason, he resonated because he was the whooping stick. He was the voice to the people who felt they were voiceless. Who felt that unless you lived in Manhattan, San Francisco, Los Angeles, or D.C., you didn't really have a voice. You got to have something better. You do. I mean, for all the craziness of AOC, in her 60 seconds, she laid out at least what she thought the vision should be. It's a lot of it's negativity. And I don't do negativity. I want positivity. I'm not expecting perfection, but progress. I think we all are. Too much bitching. Too much. What are you going to be about? How are you going to win people over? If that's what you need to do, you need to win people over. How? It isn't just the fact that they suck. Because that's not a vote for you. That's a vote against somebody else. I'm sick and tired of voting that way. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick and tired of voting that way. I am. Here's something last night that was good. But then it devolves into the usual baloney. But Kamala Harris accepted the VP nomination.
I accept your nomination for Vice President of the United States of America and to a vision passed on through generations of Americans, one that Joe Biden shares, a vision of our nation as a beloved community where all are welcome, no matter what we look like, no matter where we come from or who we love.
I look at that and I think, that's awesome. That's what our country should be about. That's what it should be about. What it's about anymore is, in politics, is the fact that we just yell at each other. We don't talk to each other. There's no debate or conversation. There's just anger. And it's so much easier to tear somebody down than to build yourself up. And it gets old. It gets old fast. The I hate Trump because he's a bad human being, we get it. But tell me why you're different other than you're just not him. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us, text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you. Again, unemployment numbers, another 1 million plus. It's very interesting. We're just sitting here. We're sitting here. And I was thinking of something last night. And this is so think about this for a second. Nancy Pelosi was willing to call back Congress over the Postal Service, but not to try and dig deeper and stick around, her and Mitch and them, willing to come back and fight about that, rather than can we get this stimulus round out there? That, to me, shows you what politics is all about. It's about themselves first, the party second, people third. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show Twitter. Check out Chad Benson Show TV on the old YouTube. It's easy to find. It is. Masterclass. Absolutely incredible. So, have you ever thought to yourself, I want to do something? Like, I want to learn something. And you're not quite sure what it is. Maybe you're saying to yourself, I've always wanted to learn poker. They've got the best of the best with Masterclass. It's so simple. You learn from Phil Ivey. Maybe you've said to yourself, hey, you know what? I would love to learn photography. Annie Leibovitz. Learn how to cook? Gordon Ramsay. How they set it up is amazing. Each class broken out into individual video lessons, about 20 lessons per class, 10 minutes per each lesson. So you do it at your own pace. On top of that, they got workbooks, exercise recipes, downloadable materials right there for you. 85 classes from a range of the best. Not people that are teachers. People that were doers and are now teaching. And that's a different thing. That is truly a different thing. Imagine Serena Williams giving you tips on tennis. Or you've said, I've got a great thing in mind that I would love to do, which would be to write a script for television or movies. Shonda Rhimes will do that for you. It is awesome. Check it out. Very inexpensive. And you learn. Unlimited access. Get it right now. And just for being my listener, you're going to get 15% off the annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/Benson, masterclass.com/Benson for 15% off, masterclass.com/Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
You don't need me to tell you things are a mess. Donald Trump is destroying our country and everything we care about. We need leaders who will solve problems like climate change and COVID, not deny them. Leaders who will fight against systemic racism and inequality. And that starts by voting for someone who understands how much is at stake. Someone who's building a team that shares our values. It starts with voting against Donald Trump and for Joe Biden.
Wow, that's Billie Eilish. You don't need me to tell you these things, but here goes. I'm going to totally listen to you. Because you like bad boys. Does this get anybody, like, to watch? I mean, I often wonder that. Like, does that, like, are you going, I got to turn this on? I've got to turn this on because Billie Eilish, what is she, 18? She's going to tell me why. And what's the first thing she said? Vote against Donald Trump. Vote against him. I'm going to hammer the Republicans next week. They're not on stage right now. I think their production quality might be better, but who knows? They may flub their lines. Probably will. They may not even do as much. Hey, you guys want to hear something funny? I don't know if you watched, and even producer Phil, but yesterday, the Native American Caucus met, and the keynote speaker was Elizabeth Warren. We call her sitting BS. Like that just never happened. Like, that's the funny thing. That right there, you're just like, okay. If that's where you want to go with that, that's where you want to go. That's what you guys are going to do. My goodness me. And I'm going to hammer the Republicans next week. I hammer Trump. My God, that QAnon thing, we're going to get to that. What in the hell are you doing? This is insane. What in God's name are you doing? And for the love of God, what are you doing with Goodyear? What is that even about? Well, I got a picture from somebody at Goodyear, supposedly, about what you can and can't wear.
I want to ask you about your tweet earlier today on Goodyear. It was essentially calling for a boycott on Goodyear tires. Do you want the federal government to stop buying and using Goodyear product as well? And is there anything?
I'm not happy with Goodyear because what they're doing is playing politics. And the funny thing is the people that work for Goodyear, I can guarantee you, I poll very well with all of those great workers. And when they say that you can't have Blue Lives Matter, can't wear a MAGA hat, but you can have other things that are Marxist in nature, there's something wrong with the top of Goodyear.
Goodyear responded, because that's what you have to do now. First of all, I'm like, don't they wear uniforms? I've been to Goodyear. They have uniforms on. I don't see them wearing anything. It's not like when you go to TGI Fridays and you're going to wear a bunch of flair. Goodyear is committed to fostering an inclusive and respectful workplace where all of our associates can do their best in a spirit of teamwork. As part of this commitment, we do allow our associates to express their support of racial injustice and other equity issues, but ask that they refrain from workplace expressions, verbal or otherwise, in support of political campaigning for any candidate or political party, as well as other similar forms of advocacy. It's the word I suck at saying. That fall outside the scope of equity issues. I just see people wear uniforms. That's all I see. But one thing, though, you shouldn't be allowed to wear a Black Lives Matter shirt. If you want to stay away from the politics of it all, I mean, I don't care that you do, but if that's your thing is we're going to stay away from politics, you could throw that out there and say, maybe this is an issue. How about this? Just wear your uniform. Problem solved. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
During the pandemic, the QAnon movement appears to be gaining a lot of followers. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you have to say to people who are following this movement right now?
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much, which I appreciate. No. It's just QAnon, and then there was 4chan, 8chan. I don't know how many chans are up to now. Maybe 12? Conspiracy theory, place where trolls go to hone their skills. People who are, and we're not talking even about the fun kind of, there's aliens or the earth is flat. We're talking about lunacy, deep state, just nuts. I mean, some of the stuff, and I have talked to some of these people. Now, I don't know if they go to QAnon, but what they echo comes from QAnon.
The crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there.
No, it's not a bad thing. If that was what it was all about. It's like, what do you mean cannibals? I went to a convention a couple years ago, and a lot of good people there, but a lot of them are they're in an echo chamber, and you listen to my show, I try to pull people out of the echo chamber. I do. I want to pull you out of your echo chamber. I had to explain to some people what baloney some of their beliefs were. And you've got to do it a delicate way. The problem with today is we've lost the subtle touch. Right? We've made it sledgehammer, and that doesn't work. It's like going on a crash diet. It doesn't work. You need a lifestyle change. How do you do that? You eat a little less, you work out a little bit more, make better choices. Doesn't happen overnight. Because if you try to make it happen overnight, you're going to fail. Some of the stuff I was told about Michelle Obama being a man, which trended the other day, by the way, and and she was a sweet old lady. It was the lady that had Tweety Bird. Was telling me, and I'm going to be honest with you, it was scary. Was telling me, when you hear that talk about cannibals, this is great, people. Just brace yourself. She was telling me that Hillary and Chelsea Clinton go to a special restaurant in Southern California where they eat people. And she was 100% serious. That is nuts. So Hillary, Chelsea, all of the Democrats, Ping Pong Pizza, whatever it was called. Was it Rocket Ping Pong? Was it Ping Pong? I feel like it was Ping Pong. Ping Pong. There we go. My bad. That stuff's out there. And Trump embracing it. Look, he's always been a conspiracy theory guy. I'm telling you. He spent the first 2 weeks in the White House trying to figure out where is the aliens. I want to know who killed JFK. I want to know. He loves a conspiracy. And a lot of times within conspiracies, there's some grains of truth. It's just like folklore. The story's been passed on, been passed on, been passed on, been passed on. What was once a coyote became a wolf. What was once a wolf became some sort of bear thing. What was once the bear thing became some sort of, there's a grain of truth. It was an animal. It's the same thing. It's a grain in truth, not a cannibalistic thing or any of that stuff. But a lot of times in conspiracies that way. This stuff isn't even in that. And the fact that he's talking about it is nuts. Is crazy. Is absolutely crazy. It's insane. I'm telling you, people, it's insane. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us, text the program as well. What's your favorite conspiracy theory? That's all I want to know. Like, what's your favorite conspiracy theory? Is it the JFK? Is it, I look at aliens to me and Bigfoot and Loch Ness. They're not conspiracies because I don't think the government may be somewhat involved. If there was aliens, obviously they're going to be somewhat involved because they're people. They're already in the government. You guys, let me tell you guys something. Reptile people live. Alex, I'm just telling you, they're running the country. Whole thing, everything. Michelle Obama. Nancy Pelosi is not even, she has 8 legs. You have no idea. But the real conspiracy theories or the things that are just kind of unique, like some of it's fun. Like, I don't know why they tell the people on YouTube you can't have the flat earth thing. If people want to talk about whether or not the flat earth is real and they want to have that discussion, why would anybody care? It's nuts. It truly is. It's crazy. Oh, my goodness me. This is where we are. Nancy Pelosi.
4 years ago, when President Obama and Vice President Biden were in the White House, they made us proud. Our nation faces the worst health and economic catastrophe in our history. More than 5 million Americans are infected by the coronavirus. Over 170,000 have died. And who is standing in the way? Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump. Instead of crushing the virus, they're trying to crush the Affordable Care Act.
They're standing in the way. That's what they are. Do you see that, though? How we've gotten to the point where neither side is trying to win the other side. It's like Republicans with the African American community, the black community. They've just stopped trying. They're not trying to cultivate. They're just trying to hold on to what they have. And it's the same thing with the Republicans and the Democrats when they're trying to. Nobody's trying to build a new audience. You're not trying to get people to vote for you or switch teams or whatever it is. You're trying to hold on. And the best way to do that is to just continue to play to your base and hope that your base will be the people that can bring you some more. It's flabbergasting me. It does. Because I think the president should be the president for everybody. And you don't have to like the president. And we're also a part to blame in that because we're very tribal. We all like to be part of something. We all want to be a part of our, tribe. Very few of us are Ronin. If you don't know what a Ronin is, basically it's a samurai that has no master, kind of wanders around, does his own thing. Very few people are that way. Maybe we should call ourselves the Ronin Party. Or the ramen party. I love top ramen. I mean, I know it's not good for you. How much sodium does it have in it? Too much. But it's delicious. The end of the day, just the frustrating part, I think we all find, and I like to think my show is, because I have a lot of liberal listeners. And I love the fact that they tweet and text at me. I try to be accessible to everybody. I have a lot of conservative listeners. And I piss both of them off. But they don't go away because my thing is, I'm not here to insult. And I'm not here to devalue somebody who doesn't have my beliefs as if, well, my beliefs are the only beliefs that matter. And I think that's the huge part of politics right now is my belief is the only belief that matters. Nobody ever thinks, because for an instant anymore, that I really need to govern for both sides. They don't. They don't, because it's all about being reelected. That's why I'm all about a 6-year term for a president. I think that'd be spot on. That'd be great. 1 6-year term president, you're out. And I would love to see a president bring a person or two on from the other party inside of the cabinet and administration, just so you could hear, hey, what do your constituents think? Your liberal constituents, not everybody, but the ones out there. Give me another side of something that we're missing here because we all have blinders on, myself included. Because everybody does. Everybody's missing something. And you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to get everything right. And there's going to be times when you have to say, this is what I think is the best thing. But it's just everybody else sucks. Maybe QAnon is more interesting. Cannibals, that is just... When that lady told me that lady was like 80 years old. My first thing, too, by the way, the first thing I said to her when I saw her, because I just couldn't help it. I'm like, how's Tweety Bird? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Chad, that wasn't very nice. She was very sweet. We talked on numerous occasions about all kinds of stuff. And what I did to, people said, did you change your mind? I said, I got her to think a little bit different, but it'll only last a little while. But how do you go about doing stuff like that? It's because you find common ground. We talked about her kids. We talked about her husband who had passed away not too long ago. We talked about where she was from, and I talked about where I was from, because what that does is it gets people to lower their guard and it's amazing. We don't have conversations anymore. We don't find out about each other. It's too busy. I had a guy yesterday who tweeted at me, and he was like his first day on Twitter, and like he tweeted something at me about politics, and then a couple people attacked him, and then he tweeted at me, why is everybody so angry? And I'm like, welcome to Twitter. This is what it's all about. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Check out Chad Benson Show TV. It's a YouTube there. Check that out, kids. Wounded. My pillow. My pillow. Whose pillow? My pillow. I sleep well. I've got my pillow. I've got my Giza sheets. I have a bed that's my purple bed, which is great, but it has to have special sheets to really get the performance you want out of it. And they've got them. They got these Giza sheets. They've got the Go Anywhere pillows. They've got, you name it, they've got it. And they've got the buy one, get one free. So you buy one, you get one free. That to me is awesome. You get a 10-year warranty, a 60-day money-back guarantee, and it's made in the USA, which is a good thing. Now, when you go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Benson. On the way out, when you're checking out, if you order Mike Lindell's book, he's going to ship everything for free, plus give you a $25 gift card towards your next purchase. Buy one, get one free. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Starting today, you can hit your local AMC, maybe. AMC Theaters, the largest chain in the country, opens over 100 theaters today, about 16% of its locations in the U.S.
I never freeze.
For 15 cents today only, you can watch throwbacks including Black Panther, Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, and Grease. Then Friday, Russell Crowe's Unhinged becomes the first wide release in the U.S. since March. Also Friday, Regal Cinemas will open some of its locations. You'll have to wear masks while watching, except when eating and drinking, and theater capacity will be limited.
Yeah. There's a big... The thing I've missed the most, and I was talking to my uncle about it the other day, because he's like me. I've missed movies. I've missed eating at restaurants. I haven't eaten at a restaurant since January. I mean, I still eat out. Last night I stopped and picked up some snacks for the kids and whatnot. But I haven't been to a movie since January, February? It's insane. I used to go to at least a movie a week. So because I travel so much, because I live so far out of town, once a week I would stay up here in the valley. So I live about 65 miles outside of Phoenix. And I would stay up here usually Thursday night, and a movie would debut on Thursday. I would finish my show, head straight over, have my popcorn, have my drink, hot dog, some candy, whatever it was. I'd sit down and watch it. I probably saw 35, 40 movies that way last year. I haven't done that once this year. And that's the thing I miss the most. It's crazy. Just that little thing that you don't, that was my 2.5, 3 hours of not having to talk about politics, not having to listen and scour and read a bunch of crap. That to me it's a big miss for me. And it's going to open today, but here in Arizona, you have to apply to reopen stuff. 2 theaters are opening today, and it's nuts. It really is. And I would go if the opportunity presented itself. I would not be scared. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me. Steve Bannon, former, basically the right-hand dude of the president in a lot of ways, helped craft all of this message, has been arrested by the Department of Justice in what looks to be a crowdfunding scheme where details are very, kind of sketchy as they go through this, and it probably will be for a couple days, but it looks like he was probably skimming the crowdfunding money and not doing anything with it. And so it would be what we call defrauding investors. If you were in the investment world and you were taking the money and Ponzi scheming it. So he's been arrested. Interesting to see what that's all about. And everybody's like, will Trump pardon him? I'm like, well, he's not been convicted of anything. So everybody settle down. Everybody just relax. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program. Love hearing from you. The way I look at crowdfunding is you're giving something to somebody, you might want to kiss it goodbye. Right? It's always, I don't put a lot of credence and belief in that old crowdfunding. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Analysts fully expected weekly claims to fall for a second week, or at least to remain below 1 million. Instead, the Labor Department says 1.1 million more Americans filed for jobless benefits, an increase of 135,000 from the previous week. Still, the unemployment rate for the week ending August 8th was 10.2%, a slight drop from the week before.
All right, so real unemployment's closer probably, I would put it, depending on where you are in the country, 15 to 20%. Called 17.5. Some places are worse than others, but 15 to 20% is probably where real unemployment's at. Still no deal on the stimulus at all. And that thing that Trump signed, that extra $300 a week, that's only a temporary thing. It could go away in less than a month. The way that it's because I think he thinks they're going to get something done. I don't really think they're going to get anything done anytime soon because it's too political. Nancy Pelosi was willing to bring back from their recess, which is, by the way, isn't that perfect? Because they're like children. They're recess. When you're a kid, recess. Best thing in the world. So Nancy Pelosi was willing to bring back from their recess to debate about the United States Postal Service, but not continue to push forward a stimulus? No. It's nuts. It's nuts. Mitch, I'm looking at you too. I hear you talking about the stupid post office.
The election's going to be fine. Many parts of our country vote by mail. Oregon, Washington, and Colorado voted by mail for years. There's nothing we could do as the federal government to dictate to states how they vote. And so I think some additional assistance for elections is probably appropriate, but many states have not spent the money we sent them already for elections.
Yeah, which is true. And we always forget that. Like, Washington loves to go, we need more money. Well, you haven't spent any of this. It's like going back for seconds or thirds, and you haven't even started eating on your plate yet. Because Washington looks at us like we are a buffet. But it matters to people. The coronavirus is still here. Now, is it as deadly? No. It's not as deadly as they thought. Well, Trump killed 170,000 people. Okay. I mean, you're not, that's how you feel. I could argue that we were told it was going to be 2.2 million, so he saved us. Well, no, you can't do that. They just got it wrong. But now I have to listen to them? Economy's struggling. People are hurting. Each state's doing their own thing because we have states' rights, and those states are going to be hurting because some of them are continuing to stay closed, even though they've met all kinds of benchmarks. Other states are hot spots. They're continuing to struggle. So there's a lot playing in this, and people are pissed, and they're angry, and they're confused. Are they going to be evicted? Are they going to be foreclosed on? Do they have to file bankruptcy? How many people can be in their place of business today, but not tomorrow? It's nuts. And when we need leadership, yeah, what's Trump to do here? I would be every single day, your ass needs to be here, Nancy. Mitch, you guys need to get a deal done. I've had enough of this. Get it done. But politics is at play. Doesn't mean Nancy and Mitch would listen. But something needs to get done right now. People are struggling. They are. They're more. It's like I talked about yesterday with Russia. Why don't more people care? Because more people care about eating, what they're going to do with their kids. Now that school is kind of back, but not really. In some cases it is. Some cases it was, but now it isn't anymore. Than they are about Russia. But that's where we are at this moment in time. People are pissed, they're confused, they're scared, they're angry. Leadership across the board has played politics and fear. People want answers. They want solutions that in many cases, you guys have caused the problem. We can't fix the problem on our own because you won't allow us to. So what's your solution? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. DNC Night 3 last night. It was much of the same. Trump sucks. He's awful. He's the worst.
Donald Trump's ignorance and incompetence have always been a danger to our...
That is Elizabeth Sitting Baloney Warren. If you guys want me to translate, or do you think you speak... Is she Navajo? I don't think she's Navajo. Is she Cherokee? She's a pretend-a-key. Oh, okay.
Donald Trump's ignorance and incompetence have always been a danger to our country. COVID-19 was Trump's biggest test. He failed miserably. Today, America has the most COVID deaths in the world and an economic collapse. Millions out of work, millions on the brink of losing their homes, millions of restaurants and stores hanging by a thread. This crisis is on Donald Trump and the Republicans who enable him. On November 3rd, we will hold them all accountable.
Well, why is everything closed? Because nobody followed the protocols. Remember when we had the phases? How we were going to reopen? And then, that was months ago. Nobody followed those at all. At all. Because states got their marching order, and then they went and did their own thing. Trump should have probably held firm on that. In saying all of that, my state's not closed because of Trump. Because our governor decided, okay, this is what we're going to do. So we're going to close things down. We're going to get this thing, under control. Then you'll have to apply to get yourself back open. And that's where we are right now. What would you do? I'd tell everybody, here's the deal. Life is a bit of a risk. You're going to wear a mask. You're going to social distance. We're going to limit the amount of people going into certain areas, but we're not going to close down. That's unacceptable. You can wear a mask, you can wash your hands, you cannot be gross, and you can live your life. Instead, we've had a hodgepodge because that's what we have, a hodgepodge of 50 little countries. But I listened last night to the DNC, and all I heard was, if you listen to the other, as I call it, the undercard in boxing, the undercard of the DNC, you'll hear a lot of what they want their platform to be. If you listen to the things that people tune into, the Elizabeth Warrens, the Nancy Pelosi's, the Barack Obamas, the Michelle Obamas, and so on and so forth, you'll hear basically that Trump sucks. So where you have the most eyeballs, it's anti-Trump. Where you have the least amount of people watching, it's this is what we'd like to do. There you go. If your pitch to me is we suck less, so buy our product, no. Because your product sucks. Still sucks. You haven't sold me. What's it do? Well, theirs sucks. Okay, but what's your product do? Well, their product super sucks. And the person who created their product sucks. Yeah, but what's your product do? It doesn't suck. Okay. Solid sales pitch. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter.
Steve Bannon has been charged, along with others, with defrauding hundreds of thousands of donors to We Build the Wall, an online campaign that raised millions of dollars under what federal prosecutors called the false pretense that all of that money would be spent on construction. The indictment said Bannon spent at least $1 million in donation money to pay his personal expenses. Bannon was arrested in Washington, D.C., and is expected to be presented before a judge here in New York where the charges were brought.
We build the wall. We build the future. So, it's like a Ponzi scheme. That's what works in the investment world. Is somebody says, invest in this, that, and the other. And people start throwing money, like at Madoff. And then what happens is, and the difference between GoFundMe, when you do that, the crowdsource, is that you're not, there's no, you're not getting a product or an investment. You're giving money. You're not going to be like, okay, we build a wall, and because of that, I'm going to get 10% return on my money. It's not that. And then they take the money, and there's a giant pot of money here. But I'm working on this, so I should probably get a little bit of it, or a lot of it of it. And then it starts to, it's just right there, and you're Steve Bannon, and you don't think you're going to get caught, and you got caught. You got caught. 323-538-2423, at Chad Benson Show, your Twitter. Wounded Paw Project, amazing organization. Rescue animals. So they rescue dogs. We had 2 dogs here that were found in a landfill. And one was a dog fighting dog, and the other one, they say it was a bait dog. And they rescued those dogs. And they've now trained those dogs. And one of those dogs, the dog fighting dog, the dog that was the fighting dog, is now with a first responder's son who's autistic. That's what they do. For veterans, first responders, and their family, they rescue these animals. They train them to be service dogs. Maybe a veteran's come home and they're struggling with physical ailments, maybe PTSD, and having this animal around means the world. Now, you can donate. They need your help. Go to woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org. Trying to just take a look at what they're doing. You can gift a vehicle, donation, in a great tax-deductible gift, and that money will protect and advocate and train these animals and take them from shelter to service for veterans, first responders, and their family. Check it out for yourself, woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending.
What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending?
Let's talk about what's trending. Bella Thorne. You guys know who Bella Thorne is? She's an actress. Producer Phil, I'm sure you're familiar with Miss Bella.
Yes, I am.
If you don't know this, she has launched a OnlyFans. So there's that. Goodyear trending on Google, as well as Tom Brenneman. We'll talk about that in a little while. Should he or should he not be canceled? I think the answer is he will be. But we'll talk about what he uttered, what he thought he was off air. And I think his mic was. I think somebody else's mic wasn't. But Goodyear is trending, not the city here in Arizona, but the tire company because, they're woke. And Trump tweeted out about their wokeness and told everybody, go buy tires from other people. Steve Bannon's trending, and the reason for that is pretty simple. He's been arrested. He has been arrested for conspiracy to steal and defraud people. Of a crowdsourcing GoFundMe build-a-wall thing where he supposedly used, allegedly, $1 million on personal expenses. And the way it was set up was that money was supposed to be used to only build a wall. What if you built a wall in your backyard? I built a wall, but I didn't build the wall. You're like, DNC's trending as well, as is 4chan. QAnon, always trending. QAnon is always trending. Have fun with that. And the Russian opposition leader. So when people scream about Trump's destroying the world, Trump's killing democracy, blah, 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 you hear all that stuff. This is the greatest election of our time. And if you don't vote my way, then you've ruined the world. Trump is a blowhard. He lies through his teeth and all kinds of crap. He exaggerates. He bullies at times. He gets bullied and pushes back. He's a lot of things. But the pooter is a killer. Just want you guys to know that. There's no doubt in my mind. The pooter took a lot of people out when he was running the KGB and didn't stop. The opposition leader, so this would be the Joe Biden, if you will, Alexei Navalny, is in the hospital for what? Suspected poisoning. That's his go-to method, by the way. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tonight's the final night at the DNC. So we're going to have Jim Kennedy on from Kennedy Institute of Public Policy Research. We're going to talk about last night and the DNC and what happens tonight, if they're going to have a message of hope and this is what we're going to do, or if it's just going to be more of I hate Trump. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
4 years ago, when President Obama and Vice President Biden were in the White House, they made us proud. Our nation faces the worst health and economic catastrophe in our history. More than 5 million Americans are infected by the coronavirus. Over 170,000 have died. And who is standing in the way? Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump. Instead of crushing the virus, they're trying to crush the Affordable Care Act.
That right there is Nancy Pelosi. Good times, she is. So it's hate. It's the I hate Trump. Last night was night number 3. Tonight is the final night. Joining us now is the person who's been following along. So, well, you don't have to. The one and only Jim Kennedy from the Kennedy Institute of Public Policy Research. Jim, interesting to say the least. I was talking earlier. If you listen to the undercard, as I call it, you'll hear a lot of what they would like to do. But when the headliners get on, it's just, I hate Trump.
Yeah. Trump sucks. You summed it up perfectly. It's not very nuanced. Biden good, Trump bad. President Obama was really kind of, I don't want to say over the top, but dramatic in his bit about, the death of democracy if Trump wins. And there's a lot of things I took from his for basically Trump voters racist. They're trying to do voter suppression. Trump's a dictator. One of the questions I was going to ask him was, if I ever got a chance to speak with him, was, well, he spoke about those black voters being beaten in the 50s and the 60s. Who was doing the beating? Were those Republicans or Democrats, President Obama? Those weren't Republicans. So the problem with that was within your own party. So I'm not sure why you're bringing that up when you're talking about how bad Donald Trump is.
It's nuts. It's nuts. If you're them, because you watch all this stuff, and God bless you. I have my other shows, and and there's a lot of stuff that I will watch it as best I can. And to be honest, it's tough to find some of the undercards. But if you're them, how do you try to bridge a gap, Jim? Because insulting Donald Trump and his supporters doesn't win things over. And you would think there's got to be somewhere you can try to find some commonality. Is that the hope tonight, that when Biden accepts it, he'll be less I hate Trump and more about a vision?
I would like to hope so, because they've done the 3 nights of the setup of, if you haven't got the message that Trump bad, Biden good yet, you probably shouldn't be, you probably need to put an X next to your name, because you're probably just not quite that bright. I think they fairly well laid it out. The thing is Biden's going to need tonight to not screw up. He's going to need to be able to read the teleprompter, to not forget what year it is, to not forget when he was nominated for vice president. But for the DNC to actually come up, the problem is, what do they have to really run on? Our guy sucks less than your guy does, as you were talking about earlier. They don't have anything inspirational. If they talk about what the progressive wing wants to do, they're going to scare the heck out of middle America. They're trying to use some of this Trump fear to from my understanding, is to swing white women in the suburbs, where the husband's going to vote for Trump and they don't want to tell their husband they don't really like Donald Trump. And they're trying to scare them into making them vote for Donald Trump to help them kind of swing some votes over. But I really don't know what the Democratic Party has to run on. You've got higher taxes, they promised, higher corporate taxes, which in an economy that we have right now is a horrible idea. That's not anything that's going to help the economy. So they don't have anything. The Green New Deal and jobs, great. They want to unionize solar installers to make $22 an hour. Okay, wonderful. What happens when those jobs run out? That's not going to last forever. Eventually, everyone will have solar. So I don't really know what they're going to run on. So they've got to basically do Trump's bad, Trump's scary orange man bad, don't vote for him, world's coming to an end, danger, 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 Will Robinson.
Talking to Jim Kennedy, the Kennedy Institute of Public Policy Research, as we talk about DNC Night 3. Hillary was up there, and once again, take a listen to this. It's another Trump sucks.
The morning after the last election, I said, we owe Donald Trump an open mind. I meant it. And Trump came in with so much set up for him: a strong economy, plans for managing crises, including a pandemic. Yes, we Democrats would have disagreed with him on many things, but if he had put his own interests and ego aside, seen the humanity in a child ripped from her parents at the border, or a protester calling for justice, that would have been a good thing. I wish Donald Trump knew how to be a president, because America needs needs a president right now.
I sit there and I listen, and that sounds great, but the reality is they were never going to like him, and that's the personality side of it. Nobody was going to love Trump. Nobody was going to get behind him. And be honest, if she would have won, Democrats would be bitching that none of the Republicans like them. That's where we are in this world. And that's sad. Are we at the point now where you've picked your niche marketplace, which is your base, and you no longer are even trying, Jim, to persuade anybody?
I pretty much think that we really have gotten into our camps and we are really, hunkering down. One of the things also that Hillary implied in there in another part of her little speech was that Trump stole the election because she won by 3 million votes, but he was, somehow became president. So she was still a little bitter about that. That's not ever going to go away. Hillary, instead of complaining about Trump being a better president, if you'd been a better candidate, you would have been president. So that's on her, not on Trump. But yeah, no, we are pretty much, and any sort of social interaction out there that I've been doing on social media really is just ingrains that, yeah, we're in camps and it doesn't matter. And then unfortunately it's on both sides. What you show them, I mean, literally you could have Donald Trump, like you said, could walk down Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and he wouldn't lose any voters. And Joe Biden could be caught collecting money for Hunter Biden, and that wouldn't change the people on the left because Scary Orange Man must go. And they're pretty much going to vote for Biden either way. So, yeah, so I'm really not sure who you're really trying to sway. Like I said, maybe you've got some white suburban middle-class women the Democrats are trying to sway over. Trump's going to probably try to sway over some of the working-class union voters that were instrumental in his winning some of the key industrial states in 2016. But no, every day I think we're just getting more and more, hunkered down. And I don't know where this is actually going to lead us.
Yeah. I have no idea either. Talking to Jim Kennedy, Kennedy Institute of Public Policy Research. As we talk about DNC night 4, tonight is the final night. What's it look like tonight? Like we've talked a bit about Biden. We know what that's going to be like. But what else is there? Is there a special guest star tonight that we have no idea that's going to pop up?
Not that I know of yet. I have not been able to figure out, though, who is going to introduce Biden, and that's who that might be who the special guest may be. But we're going to get Cory Booker, Mayor Pete, and we're going to get, assuming he doesn't get caught in the middle of a rolling blackout during his Zoom call, California Governor Gavin Newsom will be there. John Legend and Common will be singing, and Andrew Yang and Michael Bloomberg will be on the agenda also.
Hey, how much? By the way, they're giving Yang some time. How much? Because I'm looking at this. You got Senator Coons, Tammy Duckworth, Tammy Baldwin, Keisha Lance Bottoms, the mayor of Atlanta, is going to be on. So they're going to be doing like a Brady Bunch, Hollywood Squares thing. The thing that's very interesting about this, though, when you look at this, I look up here and I think, isn't really, when you look at the pre-show, but you've got to look at the daytime as the place where they actually talk about stuff that they would want to do. And that's where you look if you want to find out about policy, what may scare you or what you may like. You don't listen to the headliners. You look at the Poverty Council meeting, the Small Business Council meeting, the Native American Caucus, of course, is led by the keynote speaker, Hiawatha. That's where that stuff is.
No, absolutely. No, that's interesting. Yeah, I was going to bring some of those up. But yeah, the poverty, I was going through those, the Poverty Council. But that is that's, if you've ever questioned the Democrats are the party of identity politics, that pretty much sums it up right there. The funny one was the one on Tuesday where they had a block from like 1 to 3 was going to be the Muslim delegate group, and then from 3 to 5 was going to be the Jewish delegate group. Now, I'm hoping because they weren't physically there was some sort of a buffer, and they were on different Zoom channels where they weren't going to be popping into each other's, because those are two groups you may not necessarily want to be overlapping on a Zoom call. Things can get ugly if that happens. But yeah, everything. Yesterday they had the LGBT, they had the Hispanic, they are the party of the identity politics. They've got to put everybody into a group, and then they basically go through and say, okay, what are you offended by? I remember there was a great video from Hillary 2016 where they were doing this. They had this big table, and there was one identity politic group from one representing, and they're all going around. Okay, Trump said this. Who's offended? Are you offended? Okay, LBG is offended. Start messaging it. Okay, what else? Okay, he said this. African Americans are offended. Okay, go out and start messaging this. They were literally trying to find what groups were offended by stuff Trump had said during the campaign, and they're going out there and saying, Trump is a racist because he said this. They're not looking at people as a group. They're looking at them as, how can we target them to vote for us, not how do we make their lives better. How many of these African Americans have voted Democrat for 40 or 50 years and are living in cities like Baltimore, which is in the news right now, without anything that's become better? There was one guy I remember seeing interviewed. He's had 3 kids killed in Baltimore. And he's like, yeah, nothing's gone better in 40 years here.
Yeah, it's crazy. It'll be, I want to see what some of this stuff is going to be coming up. Here's some of the Republicans. Land of heroes, land of promise, land of opportunity, land of greatness. Lots of land of lakes. It's all going to be happening. This should be interesting. Oh, my goodness me. Craziness. Jim Kennedy, thank you so much for watching it so we don't have to. We'll talk to you tomorrow and get the wrapping up points before we look ahead towards next week and the insanity that will ensue there. Thanks so much, brother.
Thanks, Chad. Appreciate it.
At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Some of it's nuts. You go look at some of this stuff and you're just like, what is this craziness here? I don't know. Hello Fresh, baby. Hello Fresh. Love it. Love it. So easy. It's America's #1 meal kit. What's a meal kit? It's all fresh. It's sent to you in a box. It's contact-free. You're going to save money. There's no wasting on portions or any of that stuff and extra food. It's way less expensive, like 40% versus shopping at the grocery store. So you choose what you want. Low-calorie, vegetarian, family-friendly options. And they've got everything. So it's not like you're just getting, like you would think, well, it's just like a TV dinner. It's not. Everything is completely fresh. Oh, those are peas. Those green beans. Those are fresh. Like you can buy, oh, my goodness. Fresh, real meat. You assemble it, you cook it up, the recipe's right there, away you go. The time you save, the headache you save, it's worth everything and then some. And like I said, the expense, it's so much less expensive than shopping at the grocery store. Not to also put this out there over and over again, but I'm going to do it again. Your time, what's your time worth? The amount of time you're saving by not doing all that other stuff is huge. Plus, you can decide how you want it shipped to you. Maybe you want to add meals one week. Maybe 1 week you're going to be on vacation, so you're going to want to skip a week. You can do that. They're flexible at HelloFresh to fit your lifestyle. Get started today. America's #1 meal kit. Go to HelloFresh.com. Use the promo code Benson. Saves you $80 right there on your first box and free shipping. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson. $80 off your first box. Free shipping. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
That's us, kids and kittens. You guys haven't heard, Steve Bannon was arrested, but bigger news is Bella Thorne's got an OnlyFans. So we know exactly where our priorities are. You're going to lose listeners, but I'm also going to gain new ones, and that's a good thing. Jeez, Chad. Such a jerk. Just being honest. Just being honest. Somebody just direct messaged me and says I can never listen to you again because you don't know who you're going to vote for. And he's a police officer, and I just spit in his face. I'm like, why? Because I love law and order. I think cops should be funded, not defunded. I think we need to change the way we police. I'm behind you 100%. I think there are issues out there within the police force that need to be addressed. I think we can all agree with that. But this is the mind of groupthink. And that's where groupthink goes. It's this matters to me, and because this matters to me, and I could care less about the rest of the stuff, all that matters is this. And so for that, I don't like you. Okay? I'm not going to freak out. I respect that you have that. God bless you. I hope you find what you're looking for. It's Hannity and all of the other ones. That's perfect. I can be for law and order and for strong policing. And by the way, the policing, can I just say this? What happens in your state and in your city is far more important than what happens with Trump. Like I said out in Portland and in Seattle, that's a them problem. That is not my problem. That's a them problem. They've allowed that to happen to them. They have put people in place, politicians, that say it's okay to act like a petulant child. That say it's okay to scream and break things. They have put judges on courts that say it's okay to do those things and we'll just give you a pass because you're upset. That is a them problem. You should be more concerned about what goes on in your state. And that should be for most politics. Politics is truly local. When we talk about the coronavirus, the issues that people are having economically, most of that is driven by the fact that the state that you live in has you on lockdown. Trump didn't put you on lockdown. That state did. If it was up to Trump, you'd be open, which always isn't good either. With the way that he just like, screw it, it is what it is. It'll go away eventually. These things do. It is what it is. No. But at the end of the day, your state is the one that politically is controlling far more and has a far larger impact on your day-to-day life than anything that happens at the feds. The only thing the federal level is doing and has done in this entire situation was the stimulus. Because states don't print money. Don't put it by them. They'd love to, but they don't. Outside of that, the bigger issue for your day-to-day world is the local politics. Your city, your county, your state. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program as well. Love hearing from all of you, the good and the bad. Let's agree to disagree. And let's agree when we find that common ground. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I accept your nomination for Vice President of the United States of America and to a vision passed on through generations of Americans, one that Joe Biden shares, a vision of our nation as a beloved community where all are welcome, no matter what we look like, no matter where we come from or who we love.
What about your belief? Well, you're not welcome if you'd believe different than me, but the rest of it's true. Kamala Harris last night. Tonight's the big one. Tonight is the big one. Smoking Joe, Uncle Joe, Sleepy Joe, Confused Joe, or just Joe Biden will accept the nomination from the Democrats. And he'll be excited, we think. I don't know how it goes. It's going to be interesting. So you've got that going on. It's the usual stuff the last few days. What I'd like to see from Joe Biden tonight is, I'm not here to talk about the other person. I'm here to talk about my vision for America. And then lay that out. If your vision of America is the other person sucks a whole bunch, which is what you pretty much get time and time and time and time and time again, which is Trump's bad, 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 bad.
4 years ago, when President Obama and Vice President Biden were in the White House, they made us proud. Our nation faces the worst health and economic catastrophe in our history. More than 5 million Americans are infected by the coronavirus. Over 170,000 have died. And who is standing in the way? Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump. Instead of crushing the virus, they're trying to crush the Affordable Care Act.
It gets old. I'm sorry, it does. It gets old hearing about how much the other person sucks. I would rather hear what the vision is.
I never expected that my successor would embrace my vision. I did hope, for the sake of our country, that Donald Trump might show some interest in taking the job seriously, that he might come to feel the weight of the office and discover some reverence for the democracy that had been placed in his care. But he never did. For close to 4 years now, he has shown no interest in putting in the work, no interest in using the awesome power of his office to help anyone but himself, no interest in treating the presidency as anything but one more reality show that he can use to get the attention he craves.
And Joe Biden. Yeah, vote for that guy. I hope that's what happens tonight. I don't know what's going to happen. I couldn't tell you what's going to happen. What I do know is it's basically kind of been very disappointing. And I'm not saying that I like a lot of what the Democrats are out there, because I don't. I think their identity politics is awful. I think that the way that they have bitched about the way that COVID's been handled, and at the same time offered very little of what they would do other than mask. I'd listen to the experts. Mask up. Okay. And what? What else are you offering? I think the way that they have turned a lot of stuff into class warfare is absolutely ridiculous. And the law and order side of things, about the way that things are being handled, and that all cops basically are bad, and that everybody in a lot of ways is nothing but racist, it gets old after a while. It does. I want to hear what your vision is, and how you think you're going to get there, and how you're going to try to unite us. If your whole goal tonight is to go out and say Donald Trump sucks, you're as divisive as you say he is. The stage is yours. We'll see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program as well. You haven't heard yet another person that it was associated with Donald Trump has been arrested. This time it's Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon has been charged, along with others, with defrauding hundreds of thousands of donors to We Build the Wall, an online campaign that raised millions of dollars under what federal prosecutors called the false pretense that all of that money would be spent on construction. The indictment said Bannon spent at least $1 million in donation money to pay his personal expenses. Bannon was arrested in Washington, D.C., and is expected to be presented before a judge here in New York, where the charges were brought.
Yeah. Because set up a nonprofit. It was kind of implied that the money was going to be used to build the wall. And by the looks of it, and again, this is all allegedly, you have to prove it in court. You're innocent until proven guilty in this country. he spent the money on stuff. What kind of stuff? That I don't know. Could it be travel, watches, setting up his show, all of that? I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is it's ugly. And he has got some explaining to do. And this is the sixth person. Ask yourself that. While you believe in the law and order of everything in Trump and the support of the police and all of this stuff, he surrounded himself with some scumbags. Something to think about as well. You know, those politicians love to do that? It's not just Trump. It's not just Trump. But, man, got to do better, right? You would expect better. You would. And a lot of, I look at somebody like Manafort and the Russia thing, which was absolutely asinine. I don't care if Manafort rots in jail. But the other stuff he did, that's on him. Cohen was a scumbag. Trump paid him, and he avoided that. But you do got to start thinking, who are you hanging out with, man? Who are you allowing into your inner circle? People that are willing to win. And they're willing to win at the cost that other people, normal people, don't want to do. And it bites them. And it's a fair question to ask. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me. Remember, you are innocent until proven guilty in this country and a court of law. And that's not just something I saw in cops. I'm just letting you know that.
Economists were expecting a drop in the numbers. Instead, 135,000 more people filed first-time claims for jobless benefits in the last week than the week before, 1.1 million in all. The number is well above the pre-pandemic high water mark of 665,000 set in March of 2009 at the height of the financial crisis. Analysts will closely watch next week's number for signs that the latest increase is an aberration or a trend.
Yeah. That's what people care about right now. That's what people care about. What's going on? Oh, my God. Unemployment's rising again? People are trying to figure out what the hell's going on in this world. What in God's name is happening in this world? How do I get my life back on track? How do I hold on to the things that I have when I can't work? When my business is shut down? How do I do that? How do I live day to day in an uncertain time? Those things matter to people. To everybody. And if it's not that, it's what am I going to do with my kids? Because my kids' school isn't open. And now I don't know what to do with them. Now I'm having to take time out of my day to teach my children. Yesterday, my friend, her kids started class yesterday. California. From home. This is not a surprise, by the way, that they're starting from home. This wasn't like last year when they said, we're going to shut this down, we're going to go online, we're going to do the best we can, and they hodgepodged it together because that's what they had to do. They've had months. Nothing worked. None of the links worked. They couldn't get on. Her kids were sitting there from 8 in the morning till noon with no way to talk to their teachers, link up, do anything. It didn't get any better. They just gave up. They said, well, we'll try tomorrow. Little things like that are going on a daily basis. That's what's occupying people's mind. Are we closer to a vaccine? Are we figuring out the best way to treat this thing? Are we at the point where we have to start making calculated risks in our decision makings? Because financially, we don't have a choice. People want to hear about those things. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. I do. The love and the hate, by the way. I'm good with either. I always tell everybody, I try to get back to as many people as possible. Just be nice. You can disagree and still be nice. My other show, my on-air partner and I disagree all the time. And we joke, we're still super best friends. We are. We love each other. But it's funny because people don't, that is a lost art, being able to disagree and still being a human being. It's a completely lost art. Wounded Paw Project, great organization. Been working with them for a while. Go to woundedpawproject.org, find out how you can help. And it's simple. You can donate by going to smile.amazon.com, setting your supporting group up, or going and donating your vehicle. Great tax-deductible gift. And when you start to see the work they do, how they help vets, first responders, and their family through tough times, and also saving dogs that would be euthanized and training them to be service dogs for those vets, first responders, and their family, you see how amazing things truly are. You can give in several different ways, but find out for yourself what you can do. The proceeds will go to protect, advocate, and train these dogs. Go to woundedpawproject.org to find out. woundedpawproject.org. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. The Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
There are battles that we need to fight and we need to win. But there's one issue that is an existential threat to all of us, and that is climate change.
It is the most pressing issue of our time, and it deserves to be treated as such.
Our generation will bear the burden of past mistakes, but we stand to benefit most from changing course now.
We know that in a couple of years, it will be too late.
We should invest massively in wind, solar, geothermal, green infrastructure.
Moving away from fossil fuels.
Now.
We need it now.
The moment demands it. We can afford nothing less.
Climate change, obviously, is very big. Here's something. I'm going to throw this out there, people. Okay, you guys ready? You can be for better energy, renewable energy, different cleaner energy sources that may not be the renewable we think about, modern technology and progression, and you can also be very pro-capitalism and let's not destroy everything while we build that up. Shouldn't be that hard to look out there and go, you know what? We want a better, cleaner society. I want cleaner water. I want cleaner air. I want better energy for all of us. But we're not going to do it overnight. And destroying what we have now isn't going to make this a great situation. My God. People go without 2 hours with internet. They lose their... Could you imagine? The one thing about clean energy that frustrates a lot of people from the side of how do we make this work for real is it's inconsistent all too often. You need consistency. I know I can put my key in the car, turn it on. If I need gas, I can go gas. That's consistency. And a lot of the stuff that they want to do, while it sounds awesome, it's still going to take time to get there. We've got to figure out how we do it. And it shouldn't be an either or. And that's what we make it. We make it either or. Hell no. Make it both. Cleaner energy, create jobs, bigger business, but we're not going to kill these jobs here until we know for certain, as we build this thing up, that there's going to be stuff here. We should have regulation, not over-regulation. It's so insane. And but part of that is because people feel they have to go to the extremes. And the extremes never work. They never work. Extreme dieting doesn't work. Not long term. It'll work for a little while. And then what happens? You look great. I lost 63 pounds in 2 hours. Fantastic. 2 days later, like, I had a cookie. And then what? I ate a house. I can't live like this. And that's what we have in our politics with the yo-yoing, like the yo-yoing dieting. This yo-yo. We yo-yo up and down, yeah, up and down. To the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. To one extreme to the other. You don't want that. I've yet to find somebody on either side of the aisle who doesn't want cleaner, better running stuff. I've yet to find anybody who's like, oh, goodness me. Every day I love just waking up and poisoning the earth. No. People want that. How do we get there, though? That's the question. How do we get there without allowing the conversation and the progression to get there to be hijacked by nut jobs? You should have somebody who's just the nut job catcher, who's got a giant, huge net. And when the extremes get over there, they just catch them in the net. And then we release them somewhere. Marty Brenneman, Tom Brenneman, baseball family. Last night, shame. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Tweet at me. DNC, final night tonight. Somebody just tweeted at me and say, basically, it's because of me that they're corrupt Trumps. I'm slowly realizing that people like Benson, who like to play both sides of the fence, are exactly why this corrupt, incompetent president is continuously allowing to destroy America by normalizing corruption, destroying institutions, uplifting white supremacy, and QAnon and lying. Is that why? So that was my fault? Oh, God. It's not playing both sides of the fence. It's having an open mind to listen to both sides and to not just choose based on one or two issues what side I'll live on forever. Right? Is that what that is? Or is there something else? Am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing something. But I can tell you, when I hear people like that, you're going to make an assumption of me. I'll make an assumption out of you. You've never voted for a Republican. You never will. So that means that your side is always right and the other side is always wrong. That's not the way the world works. Even if you tried to be wrong every time, you're still probably once in a while going to stumble into doing something right. And that's trying to be wrong. And that's the problem with our world. Look, I hate the fact that Trump's talking about QAnon. And he lies and he exaggerates. Let's remember the exaggerations that come with politicians have been around forever. Now you're noticing it? The leaving out details. Hey, I'll give CNN some credit. The other night, they fact-checked. They went after John Kerry on several things. Michelle Obama about the kids in cages. Oh, you neglected to talk about the fact that your husband built those and that you also put people there and you deported a lot of people. You leave that side of the story out. The Iran nuclear deal? You didn't stop it. You hoped you delayed it. But the reality was most people realized they weren't going to follow that. They fact-checked you. Rarely does that get called upon. When you live in a world where you see only one side of things, you're going to not only identify with that, you're going to become more closed-minded than you think the other side is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tom Brenneman is a baseball announcer. He's a broadcaster. Cincinnati Reds. Parent was Marty Brenneman. Also an icon in sports. I mean, this guy has been around forever and a day. He's only 56. And he said something calling a baseball game last night. Something stupid, something asinine. And it's cost him. And he admitted it right there on the air. He admitted it. So he didn't say this into his microphone. But know this, you work around mics in a business like this. Be careful. We see it in politics with the hot mic situations. You've got to be careful. He said something that went out over the air. And it wasn't into his microphone. You could tell that. But he knew immediately.
The fag capitals of the world.
I don't know what he was talking about. We were trying to think about what he was talking about. But he knew at that moment that he was toast. He went on right after that because somebody told him. And he knew he was done.
Castellanos to lead things off. Jim Day's going to be taking us the rest of the way through this game as Holland takes over on the mound. I made a comment earlier tonight that I guess went out over the air that I am deeply ashamed of. If I have hurt anyone out there, I can't tell you how much I say from the bottom of my heart. I'm so very, very sorry. I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith, as there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos that will be a home run, and so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again. I don't know if it's going to be for the Reds. I don't know if it's going to be for my bosses at Fox. I'm going to apologize for the people who signed my paycheck, for the Reds, for Fox Sports Ohio, for the people I work with, for anybody that I've offended here tonight. I can't begin to tell you how deeply sorry I am. That is not who I am. And never has been. And I'd like to think maybe I could have some people that could back that up. I am very, very sorry, and I beg for your forgiveness. Jim Day will take you the rest of the way home.
Think about that. That was immediate. And we live in a day and age where there is no forgiveness. Not anymore. It was awful. It was stupid. He's going to be suspended. Now the question is, and this is a fair question, is there forgiveness in anything? Is there forgiveness in anything? I've talked to several people around here. The reason is we're the home, my local station, of the Diamondbacks. He was the Diamondbacks announcer for years. They say he's a good dude. I don't know. Does he hate people who are gay? Does he? I don't know. I don't know him. Just like, when people say, you're racist. Do you know what's in somebody's heart? Or do you just assume? And we do a lot of that. But we also do a lot of let's destroy people. Let's punish people. Let's not offer a way back, which I find to be hilarious. That we love to punish people to the point where they no longer have a way back. And the same people that love to do that also want to make sure that people get out of prison and get a second chance. And you're like, okay, that's weird, but whatever. We're picking and choosing. Even the other nights, people were standing up for Bill Clinton the other night, saying we should be a country of redemption. And I'm thinking to myself, it's to pick and choose. Look, I don't know what's going to happen with Tom Brennan. My assumption, if I had to lay the money on it based on the climate that we live in today, his career is toast. The Reds released a statement, devastated by the horrific homophobic remark. Remember, this is the Reds that were once owned by Marge Schott, who's done more than a few things before she died, including talking about the Hitler and the good things he did. Fire Tom began trending. I don't know. I have no idea. But isn't it, do we need to have conversations about, hey, how can we, because I want to know that there's redemption for people. I want to know that there is redemption. I want to know that there's opportunities for people to learn from an experience and to move past it for both sides. There shouldn't be sides. We're just human beings, but we've now set this world up into sides. I think most of us would like to see that. Unfortunately, the most of us don't live in a world where we get to have much of a say that's listened to. Because we've now allowed the flea to wag the tail, to wag the dog in just about everything. And that's a scary thing. It really is. It's cancel culture. This is Gothics, a young lady on Twitch, talking about the cancel culture. Because cancel culture, again, is everywhere.
So cancel culture as a form of accountability. Accountability doesn't need to be public. That's the first thing. Public humiliation isn't necessary to hold someone responsible. You decided that upon yourselves. The second thing is, this is Twitter we're talking about. This is one of the easiest places to fabricate drama, okay? So if we're talking about accountability here, at the end of the day, accountability is just coming from a bunch of streamers that don't know the full story.
Which is true. And this happens in a world where people will be making a living and then they get canceled and they're destroyed and they lose everything. And it's maddening to know that you could do everything right, and one thing that in many cases, by the way, not as flagrant as what Tom Brennan did there, but in many cases, something that somebody perceives to be wrong based on their viewpoint, and destroy you.
A lot of the people that I see participating in cancel culture tend to be the same folks who preach about social justice. So if you are someone that is passionate about equality and fairness, I find it very hard to believe that you think publicly crucifying someone with little to no evidence would seem like a logical thing to do.
Because we don't look at the overall body of things anymore. An offhand remark, something you did 15 or 20 years ago, all of these things, it's ridiculous. You can't hide anymore who you are. It's not possible. You can't hide. Now, you could be a jerk, but if you're a racist, if you're a misogynistic sex pig, evil SOB, if you're a Nazi, you can't hide who you are anymore. It gets out. It gets out. Is there massive behavior behind stuff? We don't ask those questions. We just say, punish, destroy, no forgiveness.
You know what also happens in regards to cancel culture? Suicide. A very common result of public humiliation. What do you think inciting an online mob is going to do? You think it's going to help them? You think it's going to make them feel like a better person after being publicly berated like that? If you are on the receiving end of cancel culture, it chips away at your dignity. It chips away at your self-confidence, at your mental health. So if that's the goal, then by all means, label it as accountability and be on your way. But that's not what's happening.
No. And shouldn't it be about learning and growing? But it's not. It's about destroying. And that's the sad thing. We're not into forgiveness, expanding, learning. We're into destroy, destroy, destroy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program as well. Raycon, best earbuds around. Love my Raycons. Left them at home because normally I'll do videos and I'll edit and do stuff, and I put my Raycons in when I'm prepping for the other show because I do so many shows and I do all of these things. My on-air partner for my other show, he and the other producers will be talking, and because I already know where we're going with a lot of stuff, so I can do all that stuff. And it's great because I have my nice noise isolating fit. It's so seamless the way I turn them on, boom, on they go. Seamless Bluetooth pairing, better bass, better sound quality, nice noise isolating fit. Normally you'd pay $250 for earbuds like this. You're going to pay well under $100, and they got no stems and no wires. You will love them. Get them today. Save big as well. An extra 15%. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
Yeah, it was tough to listen to last night. Tom Brennan. We were just talking about it before we went to break. Cincinnati Reds announcer, Fox Ohio, does stuff for Fox on football on Sundays, and he said something he shouldn't have said. It was awful, and now he's got to sit with that. He's been suspended. The "oh my God, what were you thinking" moment.
The fag capitals of the world.
Wasn't talking about cigarettes. And he admitted right after they went back on air that he was done, that the other guy was going to take over for him, that he apologized. That's not who he is. Is there room? I want to live in a world where there's forgiveness. There's a movie that came out a few years ago. It's a great movie if you've not seen it. It's called The Best of Enemies. It's a true story about two people who, in today's world, this would never have happened. A guy by the name of C.P. Ellis, who was the head of the Klan, fought with a woman by the name of Ann Atwater. Rough House Annie, they used to call her. And they came together over schooling and became the best of enemies, became best of friends till the day they died. That would not happen today. That feel-good movie that you saw that was based about real stories and real people, about a man who was the leader of the Klan in his area, who had to work with somebody and found out that that person was exactly that, a person. She forgave him. They came together, and it changed a lot of things. Would not happen in today's world. In today's world, he would just be destroyed. It's sad. So is there a world and a place in this day and age where there is room for forgiveness? I'd like to think so. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Tom Brenneman. I don't know what's going to happen with a lot of people that get themselves in situations where, whether it's through this is how I perceive something, so that's all that matters, or whether it was something as stupid as what he did last night. But I would like to think that we would rather see progress than punishment. But I don't think many people, especially social justice warriors or anything like that, are interested in anything more than punishment. DNC, final night tonight. Joe Biden will accept the speech. I hope it's more about what he wants to do and his vision of America than hate Trump, but you never know. Have a blessed, wonderful day. We'll do it again tomorrow. I see Friday. Night, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.